Okay. It's 6:30 on June 9th, and welcome to our Guilford Selectboard meeting. I'm calling to order this meeting, and I will ask Chip to go over the rules of procedure.
Thank you. Vermont's Open Meeting Law 1 VSA 312H requires that the public be given a reasonable opportunity to express opinions on matters considered by the board, provided order is maintained under reasonable rules set by the chair. The select board invites public comment on each agenda item, an approach designed to support public engagement and meaningful participation in the board's decision-making process. To help keep the meeting on track, time limits will be applied. Comments should remain focused on the agenda items being discussed.
Thank you very much, Chip. Are there any changes to the agenda order? No?
Nope.
Okay, so now is the time for public comments. Is there anybody here in the room who has a public comment? Or on Zoom? Anybody want to make a public comment? Okay, then we'll move on to our next action. We have 3 sets of minutes to approve. So I imagine that you have had a chance to review them.
Yep.
So I move that we approve or accept. What do we do? Approve or accept?
You approve the minutes.
Yes, that's right. That we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of 5/12/25. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, well, seeing as we're hybrid, we will take the roll. Tara, what is your vote?
Aye.
Okay, Mike?
Aye.
Chip?
Aye.
And I say aye. Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the Select Board Goals Meeting 5/13/25?
You're on a roll, buddy. You want to make that motion or you want me to do that?
Sure.
Sure.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of the goals meeting.
Okay,
Or no.
that's
accept.
fine.
Yeah,
Is there a second?
I'll second
I'll
that.
second.
There we go.
Okay,
Nice job,
okay,
Tara.
so Chip, what is your vote?
Aye.
Mike,
aye.
Tara,
Aye.
and Miranda says aye. Okay, would somebody like to move the minutes of the special meeting of 5/27/25?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a
Yeah, I'll
second?
second it.
Okay, terrific. So is there any discussion? Okay, Tara, what is your vote?
Aye.
Okay, Mike,
Aye.
Chip,
Aye.
and I say aye. So next is finance, and we have the warrants. Tara, do you feel up to doing the warrants?
Yep. I'd like to move to accept the warrants as written. Payroll week 5/25/25 is $7,942.60. Payroll week 6/1/25 is $9,708.08. Payroll week 6/8/25 is $9,174.15. Expense warrant number 2523 is $22,203.84. Expense warrant 2523V is $1,451.45. Expense warrant number 2523F is $168. Expense warrant 2523M is $920.80 for a total of $51,568.92.
Thank you, Tara. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any discussion?
I have a question for Erica on expense warrant. Expense warrant 2523 is $22,203.84. And it says that it's for checks. But then we get a credit card charge of $875.79 and a $45 fee for electronic payment. Is there any way that we can avoid doing that for those checks?
The electronic payment, well, we started doing it because the mail was getting lost. That check was getting lost in the mail, causing our credit card to go wonky.
Oh, okay, so it's a credit card payment?
Yes, that's our credit card payment.
Okay, so that 875 is interest, so that's
No.
unavoidable. Okay.
It's a
No, no.
penalty. Well, it's a
There is no
fee.
penalty.
It's a fee?
No,
No?
can I correct it?
Yep.
There's two credit card payments. The first one is our general office credit card. The second one is the gas credit
Gas.
card. So the $45, whatever it was, is actually fuel that was purchased by the highway department.
Second credit card, that's right. Sorry, Ellie.
So there's no fee for doing electronic payment.
But we do that because the mail was getting lost, so it works out better.
Okay, so the MTCC for 875.79 is another credit card payment.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Got it. Thank you. I didn't know if we were getting charged for using the credit card and then, if that was interest. I just wanted to clear that up, okay? Other things of note is a Dell computer for $1,385.84, which is a new desktop computer. We have that budgeted to replace any old computers annually. Then we have the NEMRIC payment, which is an annual support contract for $6,716.84. Northeast Municipal is $1,935, and Southworth Milton is $562.37. This is a service for the cat grader. I did inquire about whether things are still under warranty, but I don't know if they are, or if these are just special parts that are under warranty. And then Roberts Energy was $936.68 for diesel, and Veemers was $5,607.34. That's 5 weeks of employee withholding and town match for retirement.
Okay, thank you, Tara. Okay, is there any other discussion about the warrant?
Would you like to know about the greater costs?
Sure.
So we have an extended warranty with the grader. The company changed their policy, that the first service and all change of filters was at 1,000 hours, not 500.
Oh,
So they came at 500 and took samples. So I took it upon myself to buy filters and change them because I thought with a brand new machine like that, it was just the right thing to do. And believe it or not, filters for almost any of the vehicles is an automatic 500. And then I bought an extra fuel filter because in the winter we got some bad fuel and it knocked the grader out. So there's one in it and one on the shelf. Well, all of them, fuel and oil, so that if that happened, we would not be down. So that's where that cost went.
okay, well,
Thank you.
thanks, Jimmy.
Could I ask one question about the warrants, not yours, about the new computer? Didn't we just spend ARPA money and get new computers with ARPA money?
We did, yes, and we also have an annual budget to replace used, like old ones. We have a cycle and we're replacing old ones, so that one was up. And we are replacing it. But we got we got an additional one with ARPA money and I think that might be it. Yeah,
Yep,
so we're
just
ahead of
curious.
schedule, which is good.
Thank you, Dolores. Okay, is there any other discussion of the warrant? Okay, So, Chip, what is your vote?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Tara? I think you're muted.
Tara? I think she's muted.
Tara, I think you're still. Okay, gotcha. Okay, and I say aye, so we have approved the warrants. Okay, so, Erica, would you give us a rundown on your activities
Yes.
since we last saw you?
Very quickly, it's been a few weeks since we had a meeting. And since then, we've learned that 2 grants that Guilford applied for, the ash tree removal grant and also a planning grant, we didn't get either of those. But in my estimation, this is good work to keep doing and keep trying, and now we have these started applications that we can bolster and add on and reapply to for both of those things. So that's positive news. Let's see, I worked on the LEMP, the Local Emergency Management Plan, which we'll talk about a little bit more tonight. I helped edit that a little bit, and so did Ellie, with updating contacts and things that are in there. So that's becoming a very robust document. We have to update that every year, and Dan will come and talk about that to you all tonight. We did the goals meeting, we did a warrants only meeting. I am training my new assistant on aspects of open meeting law and posting meetings and recordings and things on the website, and she's wonderful. Lorena Cuevas, if you talk to her on the phone, she's just so helpful. We got a new voice recorder for commissions and other public bodies to use that need to have their recordings posted.
Oh,
It's just a little tiny thing, and we have a checkout form and
oh, that's so interesting.
commissions, committees, listers, auditors can come grab it and record their meeting. Let's see, I worked on a new Class 2 grant with V-Trans, which I'll discuss a little bit later. On July 1st, I wanted to let the select board know that Act 155 goes into effect in Vermont. And that is a rule saying, it's a statute in Vermont, requiring disclosure of salary range in job advertisements. And fortunately, Guilford started doing this about a year ago. So, because we knew it was coming, and so we started doing that. And another state level thing that I learned about is the Ethics Commission
Oh,
has suspended their services to municipalities. That's all I really can say about that. They were, taking our emails and phone calls even on the weekend, and they aren't doing that anymore. So we are, the select board is now the body that makes calls about ethics, according to them. They help state level folks, but not municipalities. Yes, that's what I said. There is an AFD, the Algiers Fire District organizational meeting on July 9th at 5 p.m. If we have anyone in the studio audience that is a resident of Algiers and on the sewer system there, they should come to that meeting. Right? Did I say that right?
Sure, sounds good.
Yes, and Ellie.
It's a public meeting.
Yep,
for
it'll be
those folks.
warned July 9th at 5 p.m. And that's a lot of work that Ellie's done working on that. We have a bike race on July 6th in Guilford. It's called the Guilford Gravel Grinder. Working with V-Trans, no, sorry, not V-Trans. Well, yes, V-Trans a little bit, but our Wyndham Regional Project Manager, Colin Bratton, on the Slate Rock Culvert Project. We have some things coming up to do. The RFP has been issued and they've been getting bids, so we need to look at those soon and make decisions. We had our professional auditor in the office last week gathering her preliminary information for the audit that will be completed later this fall. And I worked on my municipal project management documentation for V-Trans for the scoping study grant. And that's all, sort of.
It's a lot.
Ellie.
Well,
I did just
Miranda,
remember,
Ellie's.
okay, so sure, Ellie.
I did just remember what we talked about before, and that was to say that Wyndham Southeast School District did their reconciliation for the school year, and we received a check back for 56,000 and I believe 700 and change in there. So that will, that'll go back into our account.
So, Ellie, I don't know, where do we put it? I mean, where does it
Goes
return
back
from
into
that?
the general tax receipts, which is where it came, the school payment came from in the first place.
Oh, I see.
So we paid them in the fall,
Uh-huh,
a rather large bill, and I think most towns do it that way.
yes.
And then when they reconcile their accounts for their expenses, then they'll send back to towns any amount
Overage.
that's, that's an overage that we paid, so.
Oh, that's always happy news. Steve, did you want to ask
Steve
something?
River Road, is it typical to get money back in that amount?
I couldn't tell you what's typical. I know that we received some last year. I don't off the top of my head know what that is. I would have to go back and look.
No, I was just knowing whether this was a blip on the screen, because so much talk about taxes and education and stuff. All of a sudden we get $56,000 back, it seems like a good thing.
Yes, yes indeed. Okay, well, thank you, both of you. It's just another example of the interweaving of office knowledge together. It's something that I feel really secure about knowing how much you're working together. So, Jimmy, would you like to talk to us about life?
Sure.
Do you want to come over here so you could be on TV?
Whatever you would look.
Oh, that's right. Your Royal Highness is how I should be addressed.
If that's the
Sorry.
way you wish.
That's
fine. So the sun did shine since we spoke last. So our main focus, this was a while ago, was grading and chloriding the final grading, which we're an employee short, but we hired an old employee and rented a grader, and the goal was mid-June, and despite all these setbacks, that has been completed, and our part-time employee has gone back into retirement. So he's back hitting the golf balls again. So that was good, and the rain, said it again and again. Now Sheila, every time she sees me, says rain makes potholes, and I'm like, yeah, it does. But surprisingly, the roads have held up really good. River Road, Stage Road, and Heinsberg have a few, but amazingly, like it's turned out great. So that's a win. We'll be doing culvert cleaning and replacement throughout the summer, but there's 21 or 200 culverts. They all need to be cleaned spring and fall. It's a tedious process. So the backhoe will be on the road and usually a truck to help grab that stuff. We will be doing 2 days of tree cutting this week with Anson. They're all on Sweet Pond. They're not all ash, but Erica's always looking to stretch our dollars, so she's very alert to that. Didn't happen this time, but we have some tree money left, and
Great.
most of it's by the pond, but there's some by Maples by Judy Serkins, and
Right.
things that we left last year ran out of time and going back. So a couple days this week, so we'll be out there. There's one on Mariner. So we have a new employee, so we're back up to full staff of 5. Didn't do highway for a living, but has a lot of skills and is enthusiastic. So fresh face, enthusiasm, it's great. And the last thing I want to talk about, kind of it probably doesn't apply to the people listening to this meeting, But safety for the guys, we have started today, we wash the aprons and the bridges every year, we shovel them and wash them annually. Sometimes we put signs out, and there's still been some near misses and some, people that are less than pleasant with us in the road. A lot of taxpayers are happy to see us out and working. There's my tax dollar money, that's where it's going. And there's the other part of the crowd. So, and the other thing is the roadside mower. I've been doing mowing since I started here. I'm gonna do the center road because nobody else has done it, and it's pretty hairy. There's a lot of stuff going on with the driving and watching the mirrors and not running over people's fence posts and guy wires
Right.
and all that stuff. We actually training the new guy today. He's day one. We're gonna, we'll get everybody up to speed. Firm believer in the cross training, which we've done a lot of.
Mhm.
So that's it for now.
So is the brush and all beside, the knotweed and all of that, is that a lot higher than usual because of all the rain?
The knotweed is unbelievable on a record growth rate.
It's-
And so last week I did go down and there's several patches on the center road that you literally is out in the traffic and you can't see, and we'll have to do them several times a year. But the foliage growth is at a pace and the ground's saturated, which GMP, my son-in-law was for, he was out all weekend, continuous. When the foliage is heavy and the ground is saturated, trees come down, even healthy
Right.
ones. And we've had a couple here and there, but not excessive. But I heard rain Saturday. I don't want to be a downer, but what is it? Week 15? I don't know.
It's like 25.
So 25
Week
could be.
25,
Week 25 of rain every Saturday,
every weekend.
every weekend.
Ouch. So anyway, sun is shining sometimes. So
Yeah, happy first year on the job.
hey, it's gonna shine next year. It has to.
You're right.
But no, it's fine.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, let me ask you this, just on because the road safety gets my attention.
Yeah.
And it's a concern, obviously. We've got $68,000 sitting in a law enforcement, account. My son's a police officer, and you see them with the flashing lights on highway jobs, and they're not working. That's when they're pulling in overtime on a day off. 4 on, 4 off. Not that we can even come up with it here, but A, how serious is it, and B, maybe that is something, if you feel we could take a look at, it's connected to law enforcement to a degree, and use the monies that are in that account to keep our road crew safe. And I don't even need an immediate answer, I'm just throwing that out, talk
Yeah.
about it with the guys and get back to me. Would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Sometimes you gotta
Yeah.
stew on it a little
Yeah,
bit.
no, I hear you, so it's just, I'm throwing it out, and it's
Yeah.
just something that, to engage you guys and us, and, make sure that, cause I think it is a big problem, and not only that, but when the crews were doing the polls on, Guilford Center,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
had highway work, they had flagmen and stuff, and it was still a total cluster. I had this woman, for some reason, out of nowhere, just, even though she could have been in her lanes, came way over, and I had to beat my horn, cause in another few minutes, another
Ahead
minute or two ahead on,
Yeah.
with me sitting there waiting for the guy to go like this.
Yes.
So, no, it's serious, and there are speeds involved, and so anyway, it's not an immediate answer, just something we can think about, throw it out there, talk to your guys, see what the level of, concern is, and then get back to me.
Well, we could
Sure.
also put a note, a public service note in the Guilford Gazette that goes to every household saying, protect our road crew, whatever the right wording is.
And I can put something on
I
the
just wanted to
website,
bring it
too.
up because
I think it's a
That's
good
what-
idea.
and like I said, most of the people that are watching this meeting are pretty conscientious and on average anyway, but
Just take one.
right. And when we're in the wintertime, truthfully, when Richard's in a 10-wheeler with all the lights blinking, people are pretty intimidated by that. So the difference now is there's bodies in the road, you put signs out, and somebody comes around the corner just went past the sign and is going 40, and you're on the bridge cleaning the bridge, it's, so you're more exposed. Cause you don't have that armor of being in a
Right.
vehicle. Yeah.
Well, the other issue too, unless you're rooted in one spot, like a bridge, unless you're anchored in, if you see a road work ahead, but you guys are, like, let's say, take, for example, mowing,
Yes.
whatever, and then
Yeah.
you pass the sign, and then 75 yards later, then you hit it. You know, there's
Yes.
even if somebody has a tendency, they slow down past the sign, don't see it for 40 yards, pick the speed back up, and then run into it. That's where a police car with lights flashing, you know, as the work progresses up and down the road might be a benefit. But it's just something I, throw out there.
Sure, fair enough.
Cool.
Sometimes lights just get people's attention. Does the town own some kind of flashing light?
We always have them on, and typically I'll put a 1-ton, like if we go to Patch a Road,
Okay.
go bridge, I'll put a 1-ton with the lights on as a blocker, so in one lane you physically can't hit the guys if they're paying
Right.
enough attention.
Right,
You can get in behind that.
right.
And we always have signs. If we don't have signs, we're wrong. People's memories, sometimes we have 3 layers of signs if I think that it's a bad spot. 3 each way.
I'm just thinking,
And,
with a sign with a flashing light.
Yeah,
would
yeah.
would that help
There's another
anything?
possibility of your law enforcement money
Right.
to get your attention
Yeah,
and no matter what. That would be, that would definitely be something to throw around. You
yeah.
see if you get bang for your buck on that. Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks, Jimmy.
Very
Yeah.
good.
great,
Thank you
thanks
much.
for coming.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
Yep.
Have a good evening.
Yes, we shall. Okay, so now we're going to old business. And next we have an action on the Algier scoping study, next steps. So Erica, do you want to describe what we're going to be discussing and voting on?
Yes, the next thing to do with regard to the scoping study is to appoint a municipal project manager. The select board sends a letter of support so I'm applying to be the municipal project manager because looking at all the steps involved in this project, I pretty much do all that anyway, as town administrator. So it's organizing people and meetings and things and taking the documentation and reporting out on things and doing invoices and making sure everything is running on schedule and within the regulations. So I put together my documentation in application for the municipal project manager role for the scoping study, and it's pretty intense. I had to do a lot of research in the projects that I've done over the last 2 years in working here, and I put them all on a questionnaire for V-Trans, and I also created a custom resume for them talking about my project management experience, mostly for the town, but in other roles as well. And so the select board has this letter of support for me as a project manager to sign, and it's the first step in getting the scoping study rolling. Once V-Trans receives this, they will look at the paperwork and make a decision. Hopefully they decide to let me be the project manager, and then next steps can start.
Okay, and so is this 2 different motions for the consultant selection committee?
Yeah, the project management thing is first, so,
Okay. So I'd like to move that we approve the letter of support to have Erica be the project manager for the scoping study.
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
It was brilliant, actually. I mean, the material, the documentation that you submitted, Erica, was just brilliant. I just thought it was brilliant.
Good job.
We're very lucky to have her. Sorry, that was just
Very, very impressive resume, Erica.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Tara.
okay, so, Tara, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, Dolores, did you wanna say something?
I just had some, I guess they were procedural questions, is that at the last meeting, well, the meeting before, Chip had all the
Concerns?
concerns, thank you, that's a good word. And then at the last meeting, it was kind of talked about a little bit, but I don't remember, and I don't see here in the actions that you guys actually voted to go forward with the scoping study. So, did I miss something? Here it says actions and it doesn't say anything about that you actually voted. As far as I know, you guys were like, we'll stew on it for a little bit again. And I don't recall that you guys actually voted on it, that you were gonna move forward on this thing. That was one thing, and another thing is like, whatever resolved, Chip, with all those concerns you had, were they like totally, all of them unfounded?
No, they weren't unfounded. Didn't I send you the information that was I think I probably emailed you the
You
information
sent me
that was
the original thing when you sent the, that you made the booklets for everybody.
Yeah,
And then I got that, but
but
then.
I think I emailed you, but maybe it slipped
No, you
through, but, the scoping study has to be done. It's a necessary first step. What was done before was if you give me a minute. I can
Yeah,
find it.
that I know,
Okay,
that you
that-
did send me, they were two different things.
That's because that was the study you kept referring to that was done in like 2000, yeah,
2017,
you're right.
yeah. But
So,
then you had a lot of concerns about. the
yeah, I
new-
answered those in that email. I'll have to resend that to you because it's, the questions got answered actually effectively.
And also, I think what the actual scoping study is an opening to all of the next steps of public discourse about how we might go forward.
Right,
And so we approved the letter of support for the scoping study. How long ago was that, Erica?
Well, we applied for the grant in June. We were awarded the grant in August. We accepted the grant in October.
In October, right. Okay, so, Dolores, I think that whatever concerns you have about the scoping study, there'll be room for you to air your thoughts as part of the scoping study.
yeah, I was just confused about what Chip had the,
No,
that
I can
thing, and then,
really
and then it
understand.
seemed like it was like,
Well,
no
there-
big deal, and I mean, I thought
No,
that
we
was quite
effectively
comprehensive.
covered it in the next meeting too, or whenever the next meeting was, either the next one or the following one. It was 2 weeks later that we effectively covered all that material actually. Yeah, it was done pretty thoroughly.
And there was a lot to understand.
Yeah.
I mean, so
So none of those,
So the concerns about the possible challenges of the grant itself, those were addressed. And so, like all of the possible things that could happen, a lot of the concerns were just part of the, what always goes into these grants. Grant language is
they did.
not really aimed at ordinary people understanding it. It's like there's the actual grant, and then there are all these worst case scenarios that come up. And And I think that that was some of the content of Chip's concerns.
So none of those financial liabilities that Chip was bringing up
No.
actually would apply?
No,
Okay,
Mostly because this is not a construction grant. Even though that language is in the grant agreement, it's just boilerplate, this isn't for construction, so it's just for the scoping.
okay,
So a lot of
Thank you.
that financial liability and follow through that's required is not applicable.
all right, thank you.
You know, and I just wanted to reiterate that aside from Erica, you know, we're all amateurs and we're all volunteers, you know, doing the best we can. And this is how we learn.
Yeah, I'm not like putting anything down, I was
No,
just
no.
like confused about how, because there were some very, very big concerns that Chip had outlined, and then I didn't realize that it was like,
Uh-huh.
didn't pertain to this.
Well, I really appreciate your diligence, really, Dolores. You know,
Sort
I
of,
mean,
yeah.
just trying to stay, we're all just trying to aim in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here we go. Tara, you look beautiful on the screen. How do you want to vote on this? Can you hear me?
She's not.
Oh, a compliment lost.
I think it was no, give me a thumbs up, yes or no.
Oh, have we lost
Yeah, we lost her.
communication with
Yeah.
Tara?
Maybe I
Sorry,
can ask
technical
her
difficulties.
to unmute
Oh.
again. No, she's not muted.
Oh, so maybe, Tara, can you hear us? Oh, probably not.
Is she blushing?
Can you send her a text?
I will. She was trying to,
Uh-oh.
oh,
What on earth? Alright, bear with me.
Jan, are you trying to,
I am, yeah.
yeah?
Looks
okay.
like I was knocked off.
Oh, okay.
And so can Tara just say aye on her phone?
Well, I don't know.
This is a really hybrid meeting. I don't think we had orange juice cans.
Oh, sorry, I sent you a text, not meant for you.
No, it's okay.
It's hard to know whose phone is whose.
You may wanna switch sound to yours, just so I can get this thing connected. My
So,
apologies.
okay, select a microphone, you mean?
Yeah,
Same as system, microphone array. That doesn't sound right. No, Tara's gone.
So did you reach Tara by phone?
I'm calling her now.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
you can call her and get her
Hey,
on speaker.
Tara. Hey, so, what?
Can you put her on speaker?
Sure, I'm gonna put you on speaker, hang on. Okay, you're on speaker.
Yeah, we're just having technical difficulties with the sound. So as long as you can hear us, we can proceed.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, so how would you like to vote on this, next steps, the project management? Are you an aye or an A?
I'm an I.
Okay, Mike?
Aye.
Okay, Chip?
Aye.
And I say aye. Okay, so, I think we can proceed,
Yes, I
since
have to-
Tara can hear us.
I think that BCTV
Recording in
had
progress.
kicked out, okay.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, so
so,
we'll have to rely on the minutes for that moment of the show.
well, should we do it again? Should we do the vote again? Are we back on?
We'll have to rely on the minutes for that.
Oh, and some people also got kicked
So
out.
I got kicked out because of BCTV.
Yes, I think so.
Recording in progress. Okay.
Okay, so should we just do that vote again?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay, so we're voting on project management for the scoping study. So Tara, what is your vote?
Aye.
Okay, Mike?
Aye.
Okay, Chip?
Aye.
And Brenda says aye. So I guess we can hear Tara again, so maybe we don't need the phone as
Oh,
well.
okay, well, we good?
Her sound can come down.
Can
so
you hear
yours
me?
can come
Yeah,
down.
we
you hear
got
me?
you now,
We can hear
perfect.
you just fine. Okay,
You wanna do the vote again? I'm
No,
kidding.
we don't.
I'm just kidding, I'm kidding.
okay. So now, the next item is the consultant selection committee. Can you
Yes.
just review what that is?
Yes, I can. So the next step after the very first step, which is choosing a municipal project manager, will be to choose a consultant selection committee. So this is should be pretty simple. The Algiers Traffic Safety Committee met on the 19th of May, and their vote was our vote, because I'm on the committee. We voted to advise the select board to use the at the ready process for choosing a consultant for the scoping study, which is something we talked about the last
Right,
2 meetings. We've talked about this. It's the streamlined process, and there are several advantages of doing it this way. Timeliness among them. But there's more than that, and it simplifies things, and there's 6 consultants, which, frankly, I think are basically the ones we would be looking at anyway. It's a list of 6. They have a checklist of criteria that we can add to if we have our own criteria, like it's important to do the lowest budget thing possible. So we can adjust the scoring criteria on the at the ready process, and the selection committee is a small, very temporary committee that just takes that checklist of at the ready consultants and scores them based on V-Trans, a worksheet basically, kind of like doing your taxes. And
so what would the wording for the motion be?
so I have another recommendation.
Oh, okay,
So I think perhaps the select board should vote to use the at the ready process
okay,
for the scoping, for the consultant for the scoping study, and then the next thing is to appoint the selection committee itself.
okay,
Back in December, the committee wanted all the members that were present at that meeting, who is generally who's there, I wrote that down. It was Eric Morris and me and Barry Oleshnik. I'm sorry. Where did I write it down? Here we go. No, that's not it. Yes. Eric, Erica, Jean Eastman, Barry Oleshnik, and Colin Bratton from Wyndham Regional Commission. And at the last meeting, Chip, Sheila recommended that you join the selection committee, although there will be other chances for select board members to join other related committees, but
Yeah. I appreciate the importance of the selection committee, but I think we probably have enough people at this table already part of that. So I would like, I'm happy to stay engaged, at the board level, especially around budget and oversight, but prefer probably not to be on the selection committee, consultant selection committee.
okay,
perfect.
okay. yeah, will be involved in a lot of different ways,
Yes,
probably.
this is just the next step after the first step, and after the consultant is chosen, then we'll have our consultant, and then the work will start.
Okay, well, I will move that the select board and, use the at the ready process to, hire a consultant. Is there a
I'll
second?
second that.
Okay, any other further conversation about that?
It's definitely the way to go. When you compare, I'm not gonna run through the points, but I had like 7 quick,
Yeah.
this is the way to go versus the
Okay.
RFP, in
Okay,
my opinion.
okay, so.
And it's something we can also do based on the rules of procurement and our policy as well.
That's right. Okay, so Tara, how would you like to vote?
Aye.
Okay, Chip,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
and I say aye. Okay, so the next thing is, so would the proper motion be to approve the consultant selection
The
committee?
committee members.
Do we have to name them, or?
Let me ask you this, just one
not?
quick question on that.
Yes.
So, so the town is still fully responsible for selecting the consultant, right? So does that also include like estimating costs, negotiating the fee, and overseeing the work as well? Or is it just to pick a firm, but negotiations are not part of the process?
Another part of the process,
Yeah.
so yes, definitely.
Cause I mean, it adds a little more weight to the committee, you know, and I mean, I
No,
know
this
that,
committee does not, I don't think
Okay.
have any negotiation. Typically, the consultants understand what the grant is for, and
Right.
they come in under that.
okay. Cause I know like, you know, I just know that most small towns, when I looked at it, like Newfane use like V-Trans and their regional planning commissions to help with that part of it, which is what Newfane did with their project, just as an FYI, but, so I just wanted to double check.
As to be the consultant
Yeah.
selection committee, yeah, and Colin will be definitely, and the project manager has to be on
Perfect.
this committee, so.
Yeah, perfect, that's
There's
good.
just a
No,
couple
it's
more
good.
people.
Yeah, it's good oversight that has an anchor to who and what we're doing.
Okay.
So I'm writing down the names of the people, so it's me, Eric Morse, Jean Eastman.
Was there any thought to,
Mary.
was there any thought to like, has been Doug Richmond? I just out of curiosity, like, you know, Ally or Wayne or Doug Richmond or anybody like that down in this
Well,
business?
I'm sure that moving down, I mean,
Just on the, I have no idea
they'll definitely be part of
of moving
the,
going forward.
I'm sure.
Definitely, yes, we are doing constant outreach to those folks, so this is, and I think Sheila should probably be the select board liaison here,
Okay.
right?
Okay, so the motion would be to approve the following people as the selection,
Consultant selection
the
committee.
consultant selection committee. Okay, so I move that we approve the following residents and consultants as a consultant selection committee. Erica Elder, Eric Morse, Jean Eastman, Barry Alashnik, Colin Bratton of Wyndham Regional, and Sheila as a select board liaison. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay,
And Erica, you're already part of it if you get the project management slot, right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool, that's good.
okay. So is there any further discussion?
Yes.
Okay,
So these people will just be gathering information, correct?
these people are going to be working on the consultant selection committee, and the actual consultant choice will be up to the select board.
Right, yes, the committee will make a recommendation to the select board based on their scoring of each
Okay.
consultant.
Okay?
Okay, and I did see that form. Okay, thank you.
Okay, and so Tara, how would you like to vote?
Can I have a quick question?
Oh, yeah,
Is this I'm assuming that the consultant selection committee takes place after the scoping study is done? Or is
No.
this selection,
No.
this consultant, the one who's doing the scoping study?
There's a selection committee to find who we're gonna use as a vendor,
Okay.
like Du Bois and King, for
Alright,
instance.
and at the end of
There's 6
all
of
of
them.
this, if the select board doesn't care for what the scoping study comes up with, the town can say, sorry, we don't wanna do anything, is that true?
Definitely, yes.
Because that was a big question
Mhm.
when all of this was coming down before. Were we obligated to do at least the least expensive? And
No,
so there's no obligation now, okay.
no,
Could I say something?
sure.
Could all of these, meetings be, not these, but the scoping meetings be, recorded? I know the last one wasn't recorded. Could we make sure that they're, from here on out, that they are recorded so that if people can't make them, because a lot of times they're during the day, that they're recorded so
Yep.
people can look at
Yeah.
them?
Yes, definitely.
Well, I think that there was technical difficulty the last time, and so, I mean, there was the intention for it to be recorded, and now, as we just learned, there's a backup system
Mm-hmm.
so that,
Yeah,
so that the new voice recorder could be at each meeting just to ensure that the deliberations would have a public record.
that's all, I just wanted to put
Well,
a
thank
pin
you.
in it.
Okay,
I can provide Steve a little bit, you want some more detail on what it does, the selection committee? I've got like a
No,
quick.
it's all right, I
Okay.
just wanted to get the process.
Okay.
I was confused about what ABC was.
right. Well, yeah,
I still, so this committee, will they like present multiple consultants? And like weigh them, score them and say, we recommend this consultant because?
Yes,
And will we have options?
The way I see it, Tara, is that each firm submits a qualification package, which isn't a bid, and then the committee
Okay.
scores them based on predetermined criteria such as relevant experience, technical expertise, familiarity with V-Trans standards and federal aid projects, so this isn't a Fed aid project, past performance on similar projects, and team composition and capacity. And the benefit of doing it with a ATR versus the RFP is that these have already been vetted through a competitive qualification-based process by V-Trans. So it ensures that we're selected from experienced professionals who have met high technical and procedural standards. And they can interview finalists if needed, and then they recommend a consultant to the select board. And they also ensure compliance with V-Trans procedures, and they must also understand the scope of the work. It's not, I mean, there are layers to it, but the way they score the consultants' proposals is the critical part, but they still have to bring everything through the select board and filter it that way.
Right, and I see now that it is a request for proposal, so we'll have multiple.
Yes.
Great.
okay,
Thank you.
well, okay, so, Tara, how do you vote on this?
Aye.
Okay, Mike?
I,
Okay, Chip, and Miranda says aye. Okay, very good, we have approved the consultant selection committee. Okay, so the next action is the MRGP Stage Road Repair Ditching RFP. And so, are people familiar with this project?
Yeah, I am now.
Yeah. Okay, is there any discussion about it? Okay, so, Chip, how would you like to vote on this?
Wait,
Wait.
need a
Wait.
motion.
You need a motion.
Oh, the motion, oh, I'm sorry. It would be really ungrateful. Okay, so, this motion would be to approve,
To issue an RFP.
to issue the
for this
RFP.
work.
Okay,
We've
I move
got-
that,
Yeah,
Go
it's-
ahead.
let me just, I'm sorry, I can describe.
No,
You can
no,
move and
please.
then I can describe.
why don't, okay,
The photos were pretty good in the thing. Yeah.
Yes, yes, Jeff Nugent did that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so helpful, actually, to have those.
Okay, well, why don't you describe it and then, we can move it.
Okay, so this is FY '26, I think, grants and aid. MRGP, which is our municipal road general permit. Last year, we got approved for the grant amount, which I don't have right here in my face. I think it's 25,250. So this year it's lower, and we already know that next year is gonna be higher than that. But we're continuing to do the work on Stage Road on the downhill where there's always washouts. And that is the work that the state wants to see so we can qualify for our municipal road general permit, and because of that, they help with the work. Last year, we did a little bit longer section, I believe, and the total cost was $58,971. And we got a reimbursable grant for $31,000, so the town paid $27,971 to fix up the side of the ditching on Stage Road, and we're gonna continue to do that with this summer's job.
Okay, so the motion will be to approve the RFP for the Stage Road repair ditching.
To issue an RFP for this
To
one, 'cause
issue.
we're ready, sorry,
Okay,
the state has given us a, what's it called? Formal authorization to begin construction of the work as outlined in your pre-construction summary report, which Wyndham Regional puts together for us,
okay. So,
because they're awesome.
I move that we vote to issue an RFP for the Stage Road repair ditching project. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, so Tara,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Chip,
Aye.
and I say aye. I'm wondering if we want to, I know that we didn't vote to change the order, but I understand that we have a few more items to go over, but I also see that Dan is here, and I'm wondering if we want to just approve the local emergency management plan or have him report on it while he's here. I guess we can't
I don't
do
think we
that.
can
I
do
don't
that.
think you can
No,
do
we
that.
can't,
No, good
okay,
idea,
well,
though.
let's,
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Dan.
I would say I'm willing to wait.
okay, well, okay.
Thank you.
So we have an action on our correspondence procedure. And I wonder if you would like to go through this very quickly for us, summarize it.
Yeah, so I combined all the documents that we were looking at the last meeting that we spoke about this. And I came up with a pretty short, 1.25 page procedure that we can post on the website to let people know how they can get in touch with the select board. It's pretty simple, but there are some bits about what to do if a single select board member gets a communication and what they can do with it. And, you know, you can mail or email, you can email the town administrator, and there's a subject line requirement. And if you don't put the right thing in the subject line, we can look at it on a case-by-case basis. It's all pretty common sense stuff, but there was a desire to have it spelled out and put on the website, so I created a document. And it's not a policy, there's not any punishments for violating it. We can adjust it as needed, as we live with it.
Okay,
That works for me.
Okay.
Maybe I missed it, but did you mention, I don't think phone calls are mentioned in here, right?
I don't think
If
so.
I get a phone call,
If you get.
that's the question.
I think it's,
Which has happened before to me, where somebody has called me about an issue.
Well, I think there's a certain amount of select board discretion about, I mean, there are questions that can be answered in a very straightforward manner. And I think that we haven't mentioned phone calls in the policy, and I think maybe we can just rely on the common sense of both the select board members and the people who are asking us questions. I mean, if there's a policy question, then I think unless there's a straightforward answer to it that, you know, we can read off the website or refer to them to read off the website, that then perhaps it should be referred back to the town administrator. But we did not discuss that.
Well, there's things that cover individual responses. It says the responsibility of each select board member to consider 3 criteria. Is it information needing no response, information needing a delegated response, or information which should be incorporated into an existing agenda item for the future agenda item? Is that a typo? Or a future agenda item or action. So each select board member, like if you got a phone call and somebody said, my neighbor is encroaching on my property line, that might be something that you would bring to the whole board.
Or maybe what I should do is say, you should put your concern in writing.
Sure.
That's
That's your
probably would
discretion,
be a
yes.
smarter thing to do, right? In those situations. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just, okay, it probably isn't necessary to put it in here. It is another form of communication.
That's right.
So rather than say, you know,
You could change,
letters, memos, emails, and other communications sent to the select board. And then we cover whatever it happens to be, rather than say documents. That's all. One suggestion.
Okay,
Sure.
so does the select board feel comfortable with that addition?
yes,
Okay, so Tara, how would you vote?
We need a
Aye.
motion. Do we need a motion?
Oh,
yeah,
I think we do.
we do.
oh goodness, you know, I need a review of, clearly, I move that we adopt, or I guess it's not a policy,
No.
so or do we
It's a
approve
protocol, a
the
guideline.
procedure?
You can still adopt it.
Yeah.
Okay, I move that we adopt the correspondence procedure guidelines. And is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. And we've already had the discussion.
Yes, we have.
Okay, so Chip, how would you
I
like to
would vote aye.
Okay, Mike?
Aye.
Okay, Tara?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So I will remember to request motions or propose them. Okay, so the next item is goals. We each had a hand in looking at and revising the goals. We had our goals workshop and we came up with a document that represented our discussion. And were people comfortable with that document?
Yeah.
Can I ask
Yeah,
that?
I have a question about, yes, I'm very comfortable with the document. I think it's great. I just have a question in goal, number 3. Number 1 says, since the open meeting law or meet law was implemented, the select board has embraced its intent. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, I'm sorry. Maybe it's goal number 1. Where does it say that
Then,
That was a typo.
Also meetings, the also meetings are video, oh, I'm on the draft. Also meetings are videotaped. It says that somewhere.
Yes,
And they aren't always videotaped. So are they going to be videotaped because we have a backup?
Well, select board meetings are required to be recorded. There are some non-advisory other bodies that also are required to be recorded. It doesn't, statute doesn't make a difference between video or sound. It could be either one in any case. And I think what we've landed on is that this, every committee and commission of the town has been requested to do the recordings. And they're mostly complying with that. But
Okay.
I don't think the select board has decided to require it of advisory committees and commissions.
We just can't say that everything is going to be recorded if it's not. So
I think it was referring to select board meetings, though, wasn't
it is advised that all meetings be recorded.
Meetings are videotaped and minutes posted to the website. I think in reference to the select board, that should be able to be stated, because that's true.
Okay. Trying
okay,
to find where that was.
It should say meetings are recorded, just to,
You guys, can you tell me where that is?
that is goal 3.
it? Number 1.
No, number 1, so you're right the first time.
I thought it,
Yeah, okay. I thought it was. I hadn't gone far enough, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, meetings are videotaped and minutes are posted on the town's website. But, I just have a problem if not all meetings are being videotaped. I don't want to. I know it's a goal. I guess it's a goal.
well,
So can we say select board meetings are videotaped?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's, would be better.
thank you for your diligence. Now, I move that we, accept the goals as, revised. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, is there any further conversation? Okay, so Chip, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, Mike,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
and I say aye. I really wanted also to thank everybody, particularly Sheila, for her diligence in organizing everybody's particular thoughts.
She did a really good job with that.
Yeah, that was a young
Oh, that was
person's
a
work.
massive effort. She did a really good job with that.
Okay, so this will be quick. We need to retroactively appoint an interview task force for the highway position because we had to help with the hiring. And so, was that
Chip
the
and I,
two, okay. So I move that we retroactively appoint Chip and Mike as the interview task force for the highway position. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, okay. So Tara, your vote?
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Chip,
Aye.
and Brenda says aye. Okay, so now we have caught up.
Ask a question about,
Yeah,
how many people applied for the job for the highway?
1, 2.
Were they local or?
I don't know where the second one is. I don't think he officially ever put in an application, but he came to pick one up.
So we only had really one.
So one, yeah.
And he got it.
Yeah.
yeah, he was interviewed and
Yeah, he was,
He's a good guy.
pretty,
Plus, he comes with a
Strong guy,
CDL,
yeah.
which is critical.
Right.
Yeah.
And really, it's,
Right.
I'm not gonna get into it, but in my opinion, that's a job qualifier that probably should be stricken going forward because it really reduces the talent pool and makes it very difficult to find candidates.
But don't you need a CDL to drive the big trucks?
Yes, you do, but there are other ways, you could earn it while you're working. I mean, I don't wanna get into that, but there's a gazillion ways that you can facilitate that without, making it a direct hire, fund, job requirement, I think, but anyway.
Okay, so Dan, would you come to the table and so you can be on camera?
Sure. So just right here?
That's good, yeah.
Right here.
Okay. I haven't been here since the new setup.
Well, we don't know that it's permanent, it's a test.
Work in progress.
Okay.
Not a test for the people, just a test for how the recording works.
Every year, I'll just start. Okay.
Please.
So every year, and so this is my third one since I've been appointed as emergency management co-director. Need to put together a local emergency management plan, LEMP. And it was a little more difficult this year because they actually changed the format and changed. You couldn't make copies of what you had before, you cut and paste, you had to start all over again. Anyhow, I got it all done, and thank you, Veronica. You had great edits. Steve actually reviewed it, had some great edits also. Jared has reviewed it, and also Tyga Christie, who is our state emergency operations center liaison over in Halifax. And she's worked with us quite a bit. So everyone has had edits. It has actually been put together, and what it really needs is a final approval. And there is a form that's called the municipal adoption form, which we should have here. And so I need approval and signature unless you have major questions about it.
I don't have major questions about it. I've really enjoyed being part of the process, being part of the team. It's really inspiring. And I was also really impressed when you had mentioned at a meeting that most towns haven't organized in the way that you've recommended that Guilford has organized into hubs.
Right, that model actually is out of King County, out of Washington State. So there's very few that have done that. I'm only familiar with my work because I did a lot of work with the Navy out in Washington State. So yeah, and I've actually had a lot of people call me up and ask me what we're thinking of doing and how we're going to do it and send documentation.
Well, I really felt as, both in reading the plan and in participating in the planning, that this was sort of pioneering work that, that you and Jared and the team, had put together, and that it has a lot of benefits, certainly for emergency management, but for also us getting to know our community, the strengths that people have, the skills that they have, the tools, the needs. It's just terrific.
Yeah, it's at the very initial phases, of course.
Yes.
But yes, on the 21st, we're actually having a meeting of the hub managers.
I know.
And I know vacations and weddings and whatnot.
Yeah.
But what I'm hoping to do, just take a moment for that, is that just like that map right there, which is all of Guilford, with all the different dwellings on it, is between the 21st meeting with the hub manager showing up, and I'm thinking about, if the select board would let me, have the working map here, so that others who have gone to weddings or on vacation, when they come back, we can fill it out and see where our gaps are, and how we need more hub managers. And when we finish, be able to put that on the website for the town, so you can actually see who your hub manager is and have the contact information.
That's great.
So I really hope we have that together, early this summer.
So you may need more hub managers, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so figure we have about a population of 2,000 people. If we have an average of 3 people per dwelling unit. So, looking at that, we may have, and Ellie may know this, or someone may know this, but how many dwelling units do we have in Guilford? Not just the population of dwelling units.
Well, we send out about 1,500 tax bills.
Yeah, so 1,500, so, if we have, hub managers that are willing to take, you know, in dwelling units, 50 dwelling units in their area, you know, that'll tell us how many we need real quick. If it was 600 dwelling units, we're gonna need 12, hub managers.
And how many do you have?
We have 10 right now.
10.
But if some are saying I can only do about 35 because where I'm located, and that's all I you know, wanna do, you know, we could need as many as 15.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do as our next exercise, to really figure out where our gaps are, where we need more hub managers, and then get them the equipment when my budget starts again in July. So that's the goal. We really need to get that together, and like I said, I'd like to have it together this summer, where we have it, and we can post it on the website. Sure, Ellie.
Go ahead, Ellen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just wondering if Wyndham Regional is someone who can help with providing a map of, you know, with all the divisions in it. Is that something Wyndham Regional might do, Erica?
They have a map person. I don't know, it sounds like it's just as simple as kind of drawing the shapes and making an overlay of an existing map, right?
Something similar to that is all we're looking for.
Okay,
Doesn't that actually have dwelling units on?
does it?
It has
I know
little
we do have-
squares per household, but I don't know what the date is on that one.
Yeah.
I'd have to,
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
I can inquire.
If you could do that, yeah, and I'll follow up if they need more information, but yeah, I'd like to have that for the 21st.
You need dwelling units, that's ideal.
Dwelling units.
Dwelling
and
units.
are you looking for the names of all those?
I don't know if
That'll be the next step.
Okay,
That's a 2020 map.
that's not bad.
But yeah, if we could get up from a geographic area, what people are comfortable with, and then get all, and from the grand list, I would think we could quickly figure out who's associated with each dwelling unit.
Mhm. And so we have geographic areas that aren't covered yet.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I'm concerned about Weatherhead Hollow Road down to Sweet Pond,
Mhm.
that area. And then I've got a couple people who are interested in the southern Route 5, the Coolidge Highway.
Mhm.
But where exactly do they want to
Right.
be and who are they?
And Heinsberg Road, do we have somebody for Heinsberg area?
Yeah, Dick
Oh,
Clark
right.
is comfortable with that.
Oh, great, okay.
So that's what we gotta figure out, so that's the next steps with that. And while I'm here, the final thing, I just wanna talk about is the next project too. I'll be working on that, but to get these memorandum of understandings
Yes,
relative to the shelters.
right.
So finish this first with the LEMP, get that all off, and then I wanna focus on MOUs.
Okay,
And you have a
terrific.
draft for the MOU already.
That's right. And so the motion for today is for us to approve the Guilford Local Emergency Management Plan, or the document that we need to sign?
Right, to adopt it, to sign the adoption paper that you're,
Okay, so the motion,
You're approved,
okay,
fine.
so I move that we adopt the
local emergency management plan
the local emergency management plan
for 2025.
for 2025. Okay, that was straightforward.
And I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, so Chip, how do you
Yes,
vote?
I'm gonna vote aye.
Okay, Mike
Aye.
and Tara,
Aye.
and I say aye, and thank you so much. It's really exciting.
Alright, so if I could get that signature and you could PDF it to me, because I'll send it to the state then.
Well, that's terrific.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Alright,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Okay.
for everyone for helping with the document.
Yeah,
So writing is not my forte, so.
oh, well, you did fine.
Thank you.
Alright, thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good idea.
Okay.
Good night, guys. Good night.
Good
Good night, Dolores.
Okay, thanks for coming,
Good night,
Dolores.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so the next item is the structures grant extension for Fitch Road Bridge. And I think we're familiar with this issue.
Yeah, except I thought it was slate rock when I first read it. I'm like, what the? Yeah, no, but thankfully Erica is on the ball, whereas I was fumbling it. So yeah, no, we're good.
Okay, so.
So just to describe for everyone.
Yes, I think that's good.
This is an extension of a grant that we got in 2023, I think. It would have been up, like the expiration date for the grant would have been this December 31st of 2025. But some mitigating circumstances came along and delayed everything on this project, and so V-Trans granted us an extension of the grant to December 31st, 2026. And this is just for engineering for a new bridge for Fitch Road.
A new prefab bridge.
Yes.
And so the motion would be to approve the structures grant extension?
Yes. Accept the extension of the grant.
Okay, so I move that we accept the structures grant extension awarded for the Fitch Road engineering project for the bridge.
Very well said. That was a mouthful too. Nearly as long as the grant document.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I think, is there any conversation about this?
No, I don't have any, but
Okay, how do you vote,
I
Jeff?
vote aye.
Okay, Mike,
I,
Tara,
I,
and I vote aye. Okay, so next we have the Class 2 grant application change. You'll remember that was about Broadbrook Road.
Right.
And so, Erica, is there something you want to tell us about this?
Yes. We have to accept change constantly.
Why, thank you.
I don't know what each of you all and other people know, so I'll just describe a little bit. A couple months ago, earlier in May, I think earlier this year, when we were going through the annual V-Trans things that we do, which is apply for structures grant and class 2 grants, we resubmitted a grant from last year for paving Broadbrook Road. And we got a notification after that meeting that we would get the grant, the money is there for Guilford, it's $200,000, and then just about 10 minutes after that, I got an email saying, oh, it's not a class 2 road. So we were not aware of that. Danny started this process last year and he didn't know that it wasn't a class 2 road. The state paved it before, but paving does not make a road necessarily class 2. Anyway, so we have another class 2 road that really does need paving, and that is Guilford Center Road between just a little bit east of Weatherhead Hollow and to the old garage. There's some really bad spots forming there, so it's time to do that. So the motion that I'm requesting from the select board is to, we don't have the grant agreement yet, but I'm asking you guys to say that you'll accept the grant agreement when it comes in for just the change. We've already approved the application for a class 2 grant, but
Okay.
so that needs to be accepted.
Okay, so I move that we accept the Class 2 grant application when,
change.
Award,
Award.
yeah, so the award is coming in, our V-Trans
oh,
reps.
okay, the Class 2
yeah.
grant award
Yeah,
when it arrives.
yes.
Is that adequate, or do we
Yeah.
need to say for the paving of Guilford Center Road?
That is wonderful.
Okay, there. Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion?
Well, it's actually under a state requirement. There's a state statute that requires towns to maintain 1, 2, and 3 highways in certain conditions. It's 19 VSA 310A, so it's something that Guilford has to do.
Should have put that on the agenda.
Okay,
I
Ellie.
got your back on this one.
Done.
You've got me
Alright.
on the Slate Rock one.
Okay, Ellie?
I just had a question of, so is there going to be a plan to fix Broadbrook Road at some point in, because it is in,
Yeah, my
Really
first
sad
step
condition.
is, I need to find out if there's an agreement between the state and Guilford. It's not a very apparent to me thing right now, but I do need to dive into some records, maybe even in the attic.
Erica,
Oh, fun.
what class was Brattleboro?
It's class 3.
Oh, so it's really down.
It's
Okay.
class 3 all the way down.
Yeah.
And I learned in this process that some towns have class 2 roads that aren't paved. So it's not just about the paving. And so the select board can request a classification change from V-Trans.
Yeah,
That may be an option.
that could be.
yeah, it would be
Okay.
interesting to see, what, because the Welcome Center is down there, which is why it was paved in the first place.
Yes,
And
Yeah.
it's only paved to that
and
point.
the rest isn't
It's
paved and it
unpaved,
goes
that's
into
the issue.
Vernon, yeah.
That's what keeps it from going. That's what keeps it at a 3. And its proximity to state highways, etc.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not a through route.
Well, it's
it is
often
a
used as a
through
through.
route.
No,
Yeah,
but not
that's
to
right.
get to a,
Right,
It is to 142.
yeah.
oh yeah, that's right, it is to
It
142,
is
yeah.
142,
It's not the
and,
quickest way.
No.
well, it also crosses the, the town line.
Yeah,
You know, like Tater Lane.
Right,
You know,
right.
we often notice that
yes,
there's a change. But anyway, in terms of this particular action, we have a motion and a second.
Who seconded?
I did, I think.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mike, what is your pleasure?
I,
Chip,
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
and I say aye. And it is fascinating about Broadbrook Road, just, it's a quandary.
It
sort of
is.
for-
I like Erica's idea, we could approach V-Trans on it.
Okay, so we have no other business as far as I can tell. Do we have any correspondence?
Yes. So a while back, like 3 meetings ago, we were talking about the Algiers traffic project, speeding, safety, and then I brought up the idea of researching a constable. So I reached out to former lieutenant of the Vermont State Police, Craig Laporte, Chief Norma Hardy of Brattleboro, Mark Anderson, Wyndham County Sheriff, and I got wonderful responses from all of them. And then Trevor Whipple is the law enforcement consultant for the Vermont League of Cities and Towns. And I want to read what he wrote because I think that it'll be great to get the information that he's going to offer. And then we can decide how we want that. Like if we actually want him to come and speak at a meeting. But he said that he wanted to follow up regarding the email from Sheriff Anderson. As a VLCT resource, I have assisted several towns with a similar question. You are not alone in the struggle to find an affordable alternative for added law enforcement presence. If I can be of any assistance, I would be happy to share information I have gathered for other towns, speak in person, attend a board meeting, or help in any way that could be beneficial to you and your town. And I do have a phone conversation with him on Wednesday.
Okay,
Brilliant.
well, thank you so much, Tara, for reaching out in that way. So, I think that we have stopped including actions from previous meetings. And so I'll move on to actions taken at this meeting.
Actually, Veranda, I just
Yeah,
want to mention one other correspondence, just in case this young man is watching our meeting. Veranda and I got a letter, from a young man who's 20 from Hopatong, New Jersey. And he was just really interested in government, and he wanted to know why we chose to be on the select board and why we love our town. Have we met the governor? And that he is autistic, and he wanted to know what we will do to help people in our community who has autism. And his name, I wrote it down, Logan Ailes. So I just wanted to also say that that was a correspondence, and it was a great correspondence, and I just wanted to share it. And I think that Veranda and I should respond. We
I
haven't
did.
yet, I don't think. Did you?
To him.
Oh, okay, okay. I would
Okay.
like his address as well. I don't have it because Erica photocopied it to me, so.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Well,
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll find it. It was a very dear letter. Okay, so the actions that we took in this meeting were that we approved 3 sets of minutes, we approved the warrants, we approved the project management for the scoping study, the use of the at the ready process. We approved the consultant selection committee. We approved the stage road repair ditching RFP. We approved the correspondence procedure. We approved the select board goals. We retroactively appointed the interview task force for a highway position. We approved the Guilford Local Emergency Management Plan. We approved the Structures Grant Extension Award. We approved that we would approve it for Fitch Road. And we accepted the grant we voted to accept the grant when it arrived for the Class 2 application. I think that's all of the actions taken, and the actions to be taken. I can't remember what we said we would do, but we'll figure that out.
Is there room for one more comment?
Sure.
I just wanted to thank both Mike and you, Veranda, for doing reviews.
Oh, that's
I
right.
think that's a great process, and I hope everybody takes advantage of it. I just think it's a very worthwhile thing. I know it's mandatory, but I haven't been in a lot of jobs where they actually followed through on that. So I just want to say I appreciate it.
Well, it
We
was so,
Appreciate you too.
it was so great to learn more about, a job description as written is one thing, but a job description in action is, it's really fascinating and a little humbling to hear about. And it's important for us to support each other. I mean, that's why we're all doing this, to support each other. So,
It was really great how you participated too. It was
Yeah.
just really, really quite rewarding for me personally, so thank you.
well, I can't remember any actions to be taken. It's a good idea to list action. Can anybody remember any actions that we said we would take? That the select board would take. Erica has her pile.
Yeah.
Work it out for her.
Good.
Okay, well, whatever actions you need our help for, you can just ask Erica. And now it's time, we have outlasted all of our public,
Not surprising.
except for the people who are still
Right.
watching in our studio audience. And so, who would like to?
I'd make the motion to adjourn.
Here's second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Hurrah!
Hooray.
Okay, so Tara, how do you vote on adjournment?
Aye.
Okay, Mike,
Aye.
Chip,
Aye.
and Brenda says aye. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Tara. I will
And
remind
thank
you.
you,
Yeah, thank you.
Ally. No problem. Okay, now we.